Matt is the meat cutter at Bradley's.
Yes.
Okay,
I still got all my fingers.
He's got 10 fingers.
When they find out that I'm blind, they're going to let somebody who can't see work on their car.
Welcome to Lively Out Loud, the podcast where we bring the heartbeat of Lively Technical College straight to you. Joining me today is two very special guests, Mr. Don Monda, Director of Operations with Proctor Dealerships, and Mr. Matthew Shirley, an automotive student. Shall we get into it? Don, you're the Director of Operations at Proctor Dealership. And Matthew, you are an employee with Mr. Don as well as a student in our automotive program here.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So Don, tell me a little bit about your job, your role at Proctor.
Director of Operations for the Proctor Dealerships here in Tallahassee. Very exciting role. Get to deal with customer base here throughout the Tallahassee community with our 3 stores, and then definitely involved with our internal customers, our employees.
Okay. So how did your partnership with Lively Technical College begin?
1995. Oh, telling my age. It's been a great relationship. I am part of the advisory board for the automotive program at Lively.
Thank you.
And have been doing it since 95. And it has been a unbelievable experience and journey to watch the program grow over the years, what we've been able to accomplish in the community through Lively, not just the automotive program, but Lively in a whole.
Yeah. So what has your experience been with working with Lively's automotive program and its students?
Oh, wow. That can be a long topic, but the brief, it has been an amazing experience to be able to come in here and watch young people that have passion like I did when I was growing up in the car business and fell in love with the industry, and to see these young folks come in and want to have a career. I think a lot of them come in when we first meet them and go, I think I want to do this. Mm-hmm. And you just watch them develop and enjoy the growth and the experience that they get, the passion for working on cars, and then having a problem with a vehicle and be able to diagnose the problem, fix the problem, and then you have that outcome of, hey, I had started at A and I ended at Z, and I fixed a problem. And it's assuring, and it makes you feel good that you're able to fix something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So from your perspective, how do Lively students stand out in terms of preparations and the skills that we prepared him here with? So how do they stand out?
Well, we won't talk about Matthew's a special story, and we'll get to that.
Yes,
but just
absolutely.
Our average students, it's amazing. It's totally different than a college atmosphere. Mm-hmm. Folks come in here, they learn a trade, skill, and through a lot of partnership that Lively has reached out in the workforce community, like folks like us at Proctor's, we're able to come in and help with day-to-day work ethic skills, help from doing pre-employment screening, giving students experience with an interview. So we do a lot of mock interviews out here with students when they ask for it, and I think that's been a huge success. But I think the biggest asset to Lively is not just teaching the skill, but they're teaching work ethic skills in day-to-day business that a lot of students don't get in college.
Okay. So speaking of Matthew, tell me about your role at Proctor and give me a little bit about your journey.
Where would you like me to start?
Well, what do you do at Proctor? What's your role there?
Starting off as an express tech. But we've already talked, and they're one of the only dealerships that said they would start me off in general. So they're starting me off as express tech. Then I'll move to upsells, and then I'll finally become a technician that I wanted to be. So I'm just glad that they give me the opportunity to even start in general, because a lot of the other dealerships, they said I was a liability. but they took a chance.
Why is that? Tell me a little bit about that.
Because all I'm working with right now is peripheral vision. My central vision is gone. It was a genetic disorder that came out of nowhere. I was 20, and then one day I was just cutting grass. I just scratched my eye a little bit, and I looked up, and I was thinking to myself, dang, my contact is messed up. So I went, changed the contact, looked through it again, and it was still blurry. And I didn't go to the doctor about it. I don't know, most men don't go to the doctor. So I thought I got one good eye. I'm gonna stick it out and keep on going to work. And I was working at a prison at the time, so I had to be able to see.
Right.
So I went to the doctor finally because a month after I noticed my left eye losing its central vision, it started going out in the right eye as well.
Wow. Yeah. So what led you to our automotive program here at Lively?
Tired of feeling sorry for myself because when it first happened, I didn't go out of my house for almost 2 years. Just stayed inside, eating, sleeping, and that's pretty much it. And I think it was a commercial on the TV about Lively, and I told my wife, I said, I really want to try getting back into the workforce and doing something I like doing. Because ever since I was little, my dad worked on cars, and I was thinking to myself, hey, most of the time whenever I was working on cars, it was never looking at the bolt that you're turning, you're using your hands.
So the passion has always been there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Okay.
And I started coming. The Division of the Blind helped me start getting involved with the school, and it got me in here. So it was easier than I thought it was going to be. I didn't want people to notice that I was blind when it first came because I didn't want any special treatment.
Right.
But Matthew, I don't know Matthew's.
Mr. Zadra?
Yes.
Yes.
He noticed me at the computer one day doing like the little pre-exam test because I had my phone up trying to see what was on the computer screen. He came up to me and asked me what was going on, and I told him that I can't see good at all. I told him the condition and everything, and he ended up getting me a computer the size of like, what are those, it's like the 75-inch TV, you know, the TVs that we got in the class?
Yes.
He turned that into my personal computer for the class and got an extra large keyboard.
Awesome.
So he did everything he could to make sure I got what I needed. Mr. Ard, Mr. David. David got me in contact with this man. We met at the car show.
So Matthew, hearing your story, what challenges have you had to overcome?
Really figuring out that there is no challenges. Everything's going to be a challenge. All right, if that makes sense. I know it sounds ironic, but I just have to do it. It's easy for people to give up whenever their challenges come through, but it's harder to not feel sorry for yourself. And I feel like I was able to get over feeling sorry for myself and being able to not worry about the challenges that you're talking about and thinking to myself, oh, I wonder what this person's going to think when they find out that I'm blind. Because I get jokes all the time. You think they're going to let somebody who can't see work on their car? And stuff like that all the time. But that's my biggest motivation is whenever people say you can't do it or you shouldn't do it. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, that's motivation for me because I'm going to show you I can do it, and I could probably do it better than a lot of people that are doing it.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. So Don, what stood out most to you about Matthew, and what led you to bring him on to Proctor?
So Matthew said we met at a car show. So Lively does a annual car show fundraiser here every spring. Mm-hmm. And Proctor's has been a sponsor since the beginning, and I'm always out here. I'm a car enthusiast, so I love coming out here and seeing all the cars and talking to everybody. And Matt was out walking around looking at cars, just walking around like everybody else. Mm-hmm. And we met, and he was looking at some of the cars we had there. And later on, one of the instructors came by and said, you know, that young man that you met earlier that was walking around with me would love an opportunity to work on cars. Okay. He goes, he's legally blind.
Wow.
I said, what? The guy that was walking, he walked around. He's like everybody else. What do you mean he's legally blind? And again, everybody focuses on he's legally blind, and he's not really blind. He just, as he said, he sees peripheral to where and doesn't see directly in front of him. Right. And I just asked Matt, I said, Matt, tell me what you see so I can understand. And he told me. And again, if anybody that knows Matt and watches him in a day-to-day setting, he doesn't do anything or walk around any different than any one of us. You would never know it if you didn't know.
And what's scary is when it first happened, I was scared to walk around.
I'm sure there was.
I've walked into plenty of wet ditches. I walk on the side of the road and you don't see what's in front of you. I walk right into big old puddles of water.
Wow.
But he obviously has learned to adapt.
Right.
With his disability, and anybody that knows Matt or has watched, it's really hasn't become a disability for Matthew anymore. Sure. It was a little nerve-wracking. Mm-hmm. I met him, and again, I love when I meet guys here at the school, young ladies. We've had several young ladies come through the program and just have that passion, okay, to do anything. It's when I come out here, I tell everybody, work's the rest of your life, so do something that you enjoy doing. Doesn't matter what it is, because if you enjoy it, you're going to be successful. Absolutely. So I went back to the dealership and met with our leadership team, and I said, look, I got a good one. I said, I met a young man that really has the passion, wants to work. Mm-hmm. And got a little issue. And they all looked at me and I said, he's technically legally blind. What? How is that going to work? Like Matt said, and, he's had this passion for a long time, and people go, how you going to work on cars when you're legally blind? Can't drive one. How are you going to realize, you got to drive a car to really diagnose it. Yes and no. But fortunate with the Proctors, and I thank them every day, that we were all willing to sit down and be realistic and really had Matthew come out, walk around our environment. And our environment's really 99.9% no different than Lively Training Center here. Mm-hmm. It's an actual shop with lifts and tools and things.
AC.
And air conditioning. Yes.
That's important.
That's important here in Florida. But anyway, Matthew does an amazing job just in that day-to-day setting in a repair facility. And the Proctors were willing to trust me and say, look, I'm telling you, this is amazing what he can do. And I said, but here's the thing. It's not about what he can do. Right. You got to meet this guy. Okay. It's his passion to the day-to-day work ethic that he brings to the store every day. Matthew can't drive. He depends on transportation to get him to and from wherever he goes. Lively told me that in the whole program that he was here, he was never late one day. Okay. I can't say that, and I don't have any disabilities. We're all human. We make mistakes, but he works that extra hard to overcome what he has going on. And he's done an amazing job. He really has. We really vetted the pros and cons. And in today's society, we're all worried about somebody getting hurt and what could happen. But again, we're all human and people can make mistakes, whether you're visually impaired, hearing impaired. It doesn't matter. If you can do the task, then I deserve it. Everybody deserves a chance.
And Matthew just needed an opportunity, and you all gave that to him.
Listen, this young man has come in there, and the response from our team at Honda has been overwhelming. I came in. Matthew's an early guy, okay? He just likes to be everywhere early. he sets a whole new bar to the definition of being on time. Just 2 weeks ago, I was going to stores on Saturday, just check on everybody. And I'm standing out there talking to the guys at Honda, and a couple of technicians walked up to me and said, at first I didn't know what y'all were doing, but he's amazing. I love that guy. So I was like, well, I love it. I love that he's getting along and everybody likes him, and I really want him to succeed. Yeah. So then they go, well, Matt gets here every day early, and when he gets here, he goes in the shop, he's straightening up, he fills up everybody's washer jug so they're ready for the day. And I said, well, okay, that work ethic we can see already has been bleeding off into other employees, and they're like, wow, and he is a perfect role model of the definition of a great work ethic.
Which brings me to my next question. What has Matthew brought to the team, and how has his presence impacted your workplace?
Again, his work ethic, what he says, to overcome his challenges. When you're working next to a gentleman like this with a disability, and then, you might have got up this morning and went, I don't feel good. But then you think of him, okay? And I know it has changed people's perspective on just how they look at day to day. We're caught up in the motions of the day-to-day grind.
I'm talking about multiple cars all day long.
we just take too much for granted in life. And then you have somebody that, like this young man that's there next to you every day, and it makes you not want to complain or whatever is going through your mind that day that you might be struggling with. Because when you look around, normally there's always somebody that's got a different challenge in life, and Matthew always has a positive outlook day to day.
Good for you, Matt.
So we are proud to have him on the team. He's doing a great job, and we hope that he just continues to grow. And we have set up processes in place that will help him throughout, and teaming him up with people at the stores that are going to be, hopefully our goal is to have Matthew working with a senior master technician that can say, Matthew, this is what's going on with this car, and this is what we need to do, and then turn him loose and let him do it. Yes. So we're happy, we're excited. I'm so glad that this is working out, and again, I'm so thankful for Lively and the Proctors for being willing to accept this whole adventure with Matthew, because it has been. It was a whole different perspective for us, and to look at, just open your eyes and give people a chance, and not get caught up in the normal bureaucracy that goes on unfortunately with people that have some disabilities. So, my word out there is don't, to any other employer. I'm thankful that anybody that passed up this young man.
Thank you for passing me up.
Because now we have a great employee. But, take that chance. Really, really try to look through it and vet it and see if you can make it happen for them.
So, Matthew, what would you say to a student who may wake up one day and decide, I don't have what it takes? What would you say to that student?
What do you have to lose? A lot of these people, I know a lot of the men in my class, or people in general, that have families that they need to support. So if you're missing out on days of school, I know Lively Tech is strict with the absence. So I think it would be, you're losing out on education that could help you get in contact with people like the Proctors or whoever you're trying to get employed with.
Mm-hmm. You've overcome a challenge that you had to look dead in the eye. That was something that you did personally, and everybody looks at that every day and commends you for that positive outlook that you have, and it's contagious.
Definitely. And a lot of people at at Bradley's Country Store said the same thing, because whenever I was living in town and I would ride a bicycle 16 miles to work with the disability to get to Bradley's, I'd leave early in the morning. I'd usually leave 3 o'clock in the morning just so I wouldn't have to ride with cars on the road. On the way back home, that was a different story. Those cars did not stop. No.
So
how long did you do that?
How long did I do it?
Yeah.
2015, you started there, I think.
Out here?
Bradley's.
Oh, at Bradley's? That was, I think it was like 2017. Yeah, 2016, 2017. But then I went and worked at a prison, got the disability. Like I said, I was out for 2 years.
So, Matt, hold up your hands. I'm going to tell a secret. Matt is the meat cutter at Bradley's.
Yes.
Okay,
I still got all my fingers.
He's got 10 fingers.
Yes.
Okay. That was one thing that I brought to the team. I said, guys,
I love that.
We all, we've been very close with the Bradleys over years. We've known them forever, and they were all excited when he shared, hey, believe it or not, I think I might have an opportunity to go finally work on cars. And then he said Proctor's, and they were like, oh my gosh, we know them, and one of our other directors lives literally right diagonal from the Bradleys.
Definitely.
And is close with them. And they came in, he goes, he's the meat cutter. And I went,
oh yeah.
Matt cuts meat. Matt's got 10 fingers. We're good. He's going to be fine. We got this.
I love it.
We got this. But he's still there. So if you're ever out at Bradley's, stop in and say hi to Matt and get a sausage dog, and he may have cut that up and made it for you.
Oh, so. most likely I did. And every Monday I do the butchering with them. And she told me before I started the school that she was jealous of the employer that would get me, because she didn't want me to leave. She didn't want me to leave. Because I decided to go to Lively a year prior for going to Lively, and I got scared and nervous. And then the next year came up, and my wife was telling me, if you're going to do it, you need to do it. You ain't got much time. Or I got time, but the faster I do it, the faster I can get into being able to get into a career instead of a job.
Absolutely.
So it was, got here, and Lively helped me out a lot.
And amen. We want you to keep succeeding. It's great to see you enjoying it. And that's what I like. And it's not, again, that's goes back to any student here. If you enjoy what you're doing,
the motivation will be
do
there.
it. You'll be successful. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. Which brings me to my last question to you, Don. What would you say to current students at Lively who may feel uncertain about their future and the challenges that they face?
Well, you're at the right place. They'll help you overcome those challenges, the fears, or any discouragement that you think you're experiencing. My advice is be vocal. You have counselors here. You have your instructors. Let them know how you're feeling. Let them know that some of the challenges that you're anxious about, and they'll help you overcome it. That is one, again, a great attribute to Lively versus, and I'm not downing on colleges. Technical centers are a huge need right now. There's nothing wrong with trades. Okay. I get on my soapbox and I preach this, and we try to get into, as early as middle school now, and let young people know that, look, it isn't just about college is great. If you want to go to college, go to college. Sure. And you might get done with college and want to learn a trade.
Absolutely.
Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. Come learn the trade.
We say it all the time.
I have a young man that that went through MIT.
Oh, wow.
And then said, you know what, I want to go work on cars. And then went through a training program and became a Honda master technician. And just, again, it's all about the passion of what you like to do.
Right.
And Lively is just a great stepping stone for students that are looking for a trade that it's no different than college. If you're going to go to college and you're going to get a business degree, we just refine it here. Okay. I want to go learn how to work on HVAC, or I want to learn how to weld, or I want to be a plumber, electrician, diesel mechanic, or automotive mechanic, whatever your passion is, if you enjoy doing it, you're at the right place
I love
to
that.
do it.
Well, Don, thank you so much for your partnership. We appreciate you all so much at Proctor. Thank you, Matt. Your story has been so inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today. Thank you for joining another episode of Lively Out Loud. I'm your host, Brittani Stokes. It has been an amazing morning here with Don and Matthew, hearing his inspiring story. Don't forget to follow us on all social media outlets. See you soon.